All right. Hey, this is the Mike and Mila hour. I'm Mike, and this is Mila.
Hello.
Hey, okay, so this is my first time doing this is Zoom. I wish I would have known about this. It's so easy. Okay, so I can do sessions through this too. So I want to start it out, and I guess kind of throw it over to you and ask you some questions. Is that all right?
Yes.
All right. So where do we start? Okay, so you sent me a message today saying something integrated. Did you want to talk about that, or do you want to start way before?
Well, I think we should give some background, right?
Right. So go ahead.
Should we give background on how we met?
Yeah, so do you want
Yeah.
me to do that?
Sure.
All right, so we met about it's been 2 weeks at least, I think 3 weeks.
Mhm.
And we had some conversations, and we essentially did a session that, something that I really enjoyed, that had really allowed you to open up and drop down into yourself, right?
What do you call it? The inner breathing, inward
Well, I call it internal awareness.
internal awareness. Yeah, that
Okay.
one.
Okay, so let me start there. Okay, so I've started a new page on my website. So I'm a professional dating relationship coach. I've been specializing in communication between men and women for over 30 years now. It's something I started at a very young age. I'm highly trained in NLP, hypnosis, Reiki, Huna, pranic healing, something called timeline therapy. So I'm an NLP trainer, master hypnotherapist, master practitioner of timeline therapy, certified in Reiki, Huna, pranic healing, and I've trained with Buddhist monks off and on for years, but very in-depth work. The monk that I trained most with was Buddha Calm, who has passed away quite a few years ago. I started out by diving into psychology at 18, and then I dove into like NLP, hypnosis, and all that stuff when I was 19 years old. And I started traveling around the world doing like 5-week trainings. And these trainings are about 8 hours a day, 9, sometimes 10 hours a day. And in the 5-week training, you get 1 day off in the middle. So it's every day. It's very intensive. And I've got literally over 500 books that I've read on psychology, human behavior, hypnosis, NLP, everything you could think of. So what this video is about as I've developed my energy healing abilities, they've become amplified. I don't want to go too far into this because I don't want to eat too much time, but let's just say in the last 2 years, my healing abilities have just ramped up massively. I'll do another video and give you some stories of things that I've done in the past. Okay. So what this video is about is something that I'm calling emotional healing. It's a page on my website at MikeKollin, MikeKollin.com. So right up in there in the menu is emotional healing. Okay. So you can go there and read it, the price per session, etc. So the reason why I guess we'll call you Mila, okay, is on here. It's her nickname. It's like part of her name. And so she had an amplified experience. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it used to take me a 3, 4, maybe 5 sessions to get people where she got in the first session. Okay. So I want to throw it back over to you, and I can ask you questions about it, but I would rather have you share, like, what was the experience like?
Well, let's just give a little bit more background.
Yeah.
So, we were put in each other's path, I would say. I'm going through something a little bit stressful, work life balance. And
A lot
Mike,
stressful.
pardon?
I'd say a lot stressful.
Yes, and also, as Mike would keep telling me that I'm very left brain, and I am.
Okay.
And so the breathing exercise that he did for me over the phone, and this is before I even met him in person, was just taking my thoughts out of my brain and dropping them down to my heart center, or even, the solar plexus, the stomach, whatever
Uh-huh.
that is. Um, and also, as a background, I have been working on myself for a couple of years.
Hmm.
Not as much as you have, obviously, but I'm just trying to get on a road to recovery from whatever it is, and I wouldn't say that I had a bad childhood or any trauma, but apparently we all have at some point.
Hmm.
So I've been working on lots of modalities, including therapy and tapping, tarot cards, everything. So I wonder if that had something to do with the fact about how, like you said, other people take 5 sessions or more, or even years, whereas for me, I um, dropped much faster because I was ready. And as much as you might say that I am closed off and not allowing, um,
I
that,
think you are
act-
now.
that actually says, well, even at that moment, you had to kind of stop. So Mike does a lot of stopping me from explaining, from questioning, and then just saying, just understand and just allow it. And so that night when you were showing me or teaching me the deep breathing and dropping,
Hmm.
um, it was extremely powerful in terms of very calming. It was also late at night because, that's the only time that we could meet. So I
Okay.
was on my way to being chill anyways, but
This was
but
over the phone. So
that
go
was
ahead.
over the phone, and just his voice and his teaching and me following along and deep breathing and visualizing what Mike was saying. And you actually put this in part one of the emotional healing video.
Yeah.
So the breathing exercise now is there. Um, but at the end of it, I felt very calm, very centered.
Hmm.
Um, and I think you even asked me, is this a good time to stop? And I said yes, because I'd like to hold on to that feeling a little bit longer, that
All right.
feeling of being grounded a little bit longer, even though it's, for me, it was nighttime.
Is it okay if I talk now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So what happened was, she said it very lightly, and it was much more than just a little stress. Is it okay if I expand on that a little bit?
Yes.
By the way, I'm looking to the left because the camera's here and she's over, my screen is over here. So she was a lot stressed. I don't want to go too in depth, but she was ping ponging quite a bit and it was very hard. She was all over the place. She was spinning. Maybe that's a good way of saying it. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They will see both of us in the recording, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So I don't want to, she was in a tough place. I'm going to say it like that. She was in a tough place, and at the very least, she was not grounded. And so I basically took charge of the situation because you were like, it was emotional. It was a lot of stress. So here's okay. So when I say I can get people to a certain place for 3 or 4 days, it usually will take people 3 or 4 years working with other practitioners to do what I did with her. Okay. How do I know? Because that's what I went through. And okay, you're a good example of it too. She came to me, oh, I've done this, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this training, I've done that training, I've worked with this coach and this healer and all these different modalities. And yet she wasn't grounded. She was just like all over the place, right? And there was a lot of I don't I guess like there's a lot of fear, stress, worry, questioning like nonstop. So in one session, I got her to completely this whole scramble thing going and feeling empty inside. I got her awareness, her energy. Your Most people's energy is here and then up, kind of in an upside down triangle or pyramid, and we got it to completely drop down inside her. So that's what I call reconnecting with yourself energetically and emotionally. And I took her through we're not going to do it in this video, but there was a process that I took her through. Now I could logically teach you this process and you won't get there. I know because that's how it was taught to me, and I thought this was BS and it didn't work because I never really got there, and until I finally got there, then I was like, oh, this is being emotionally grounded. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm not going to say it the most proper way, but I'm using my energy to guide her energy to drop down inside. And all of a sudden, when your energy is inside you and around you, your energy field, which is about 15 inches around you, 15 to 18 inches all around you and above you, is that's where your energy is supposed to be. And then you're going to feel solid. You're going to feel connected. You're going to get a sense of clarity. Is that what you would say you got at the end of that?
Well, the first part is the calmness. And I think, just going, the clarity is coming. The clarity is coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for that moment, though, is what I meant.
Yeah, probably for that moment. Yeah.
Mhm.
And just to add on to your explanation about my ping ponging, I didn't even know. I didn't even know that I was ping. For me, it was just a natural way to speak.
Yeah.
To like vomit everything that I am feeling in my head and all my stress. And it was Mike's calming, his energy was, showing me that I was ping ponging and that if I would just be quiet, then he could do his healing practice.
So a lot of people now I know because when I first started this journey 30 plus years ago, I was the same way. I felt like I had to tell this healer, this life coach, this whoever I was working with, and I had to just tell them all my problems and everything that's going on. That doesn't help. It really doesn't. You think it does, but what really helps is when you find that piece of clarity, that space, that spaciousness where you are calm and you catch your breath and you're just fully and completely grounded. Would you say that's true?
Yeah.
She's laughing. Mhm.
um, yeah, so to all the left brain people out there, I mean, it's important for us to get our questions out.
Mhm.
But Mike would tell me again and again, it whether you agree or disagree, just understand and just allow. And if I would just let myself get out of the way,
Mm,
and then it starts to work. But it's
yeah.
it's it's still a battle. Um, but every time that you have done some kind of work with me, it's been amazing. It's been I might be skeptical at that point.
Oh, yeah.
I know I might roll my eyes at some
He's the
point.
master of skeptical.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and but the integration happens afterwards. So I definitely feel something shifting.
Okay.
Um,
Let's I want you to hold that. I'm gonna do one quick thing here, and I'm gonna start the candle. I think it's a thing for me when I get my candle going. I don't because I don't feel like I'm in the zone right now, and I think this will help me. So this is what I call my bougie candle. It's a men's cologne. It's a gift from a friend, and I don't know why they call it bougie. It's something something bougie. I just remember the word bougie, and this is a winter
bu-
sage.
bougie is the French word for candle
Oh, is
or
it
a nickname.
bougie? Really?
Mm,
I thought
yeah.
bougie meant like you're rich and kind of bougie.
If you website, oh, did we just advertise her site? So
Are we allowed to do that?
cut that out.
Okay. Well, okay. I don't know why. All right. So this is just winter sage. It's a little bit lighter than regular sage. So white sage, I think you call it. Okay. So go ahead and finish what you were saying about that. If you remember, I have a feeling she's not going to remember. So, but do you remember what you're talking about?
When
Right before I lit the candle, I said, "Hold that thought and let me do this, and you can finish."
was that when I was saying about that you just said you keep saying whether you agree or disagree, just try to understand what I'm teaching, and then allow. And then when I do eventually do it, and I do eventually, I do shut up and just listen. Um, and then I feel just a little bit more open. And
Mhm.
then a day or two later, I start thinking about what was done
Right.
and I start feeling the integration of groundedness, the breath work.
Do
I'm doing that.
you feel like a shift inside? Is that what you mean by integration?
Yeah, so I feel a lot of the things that was used to be in my head is now down here, just down here, and it
More
feels so
calm.
much better, right? And
Yeah.
I feel so much calmer.
Mhm.
What does my energy say to you?
Right. You're very yeah, you got a lot of joy right now. Very peace it's a very peaceful joy versus chaotic joy.
Mm.
And okay, so it's
And that's
nice.
only after 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. One thing I want to say is I really, 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 really love my work. You guys, I made a video with Adam. We just did it through his cell phone through because he's in London, so we did it through WhatsApp, and the audio wasn't very good. So now that I have this, I'm going to start using Zoom. I didn't know you could even do this. I didn't know there was a record. So I'm going to use Adam as an example. We're not finding the right words to explain how much she shifted. It is massive.
In such a short time.
Yes. Okay. And people like, okay, you already said it though. You went to all these different therapies and coaches and trainings that lasted for months or 5 weeks or something like that. And just, she's done quite a bit of work. And Adam has done everything. He's gone to Tony Robbins, all the seminars, not one, all of them. He's hired life coaches, acupuncture, deep tissue. He's done everything you could think of. Adam has a bit of money, we'll say. And so he came out to see me. He flew out from London out here. I'm near San Francisco right now. And Adam recently reconnected with me. He was going through a lot of overwhelming emotion and pain, crying, and just really, he had quite some business things and some personal things just collapse all at once. And one of them was quite cruel. And I said, "Don't worry, we got it." And then within 45 minutes, he was just like, "Oh," like all the stress went away, and he came out of his head. He was just so stuck in his thinking head, and it's kind of stressful being like that, isn't it, Mila?
Yeah.
So okay. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm really proud of my work. I'm exceptionally good at this. Okay, what would you say? I know I'm not supposed to say that, but here's the thing. There's a lot of people out there that need help. I'm exceptionally good at what I do. And the thing is, like, is finding a way to reach more people because you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be stuck up in your head and have all these worries and stress and, all the chaotic stuff.
Yeah. So, one thing I would say about Mike is he wants to help, and you have a gift. You definitely have a gift, and I
Yeah.
feel that. Um, and you know, um, how do I put this? You definitely want to help. You helped me before I even asked for it, in a
Mhm.
way, right? Just in that first phone call, um, you were just like, and I said I was stressed out, and you're like, well, what's going on? And this is even before I knew, the type of healing power you have. And now that I know you for 2 weeks, I realize that you have everything you do, everything you say is with intention to heal because you can see and feel my energy or, my aura and my vibe before I even know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm immensely impressed. The other thing about anybody else who's at the same place I was, my suggestion is just be open and allow it. And we have to be able to release it. We want to release it, and with Mike's help, I hope I can get there, and I'm sure you
You,
have people who you have worked on for years, or in your sessions that you have helped. So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. So go ahead. Will you say something else?
No.
So Adam threw a word out there, and it's a word. I'm a very playful guy. I'm very funny and goofy, as Mila already knows. So um, he threw a word out there. I was kind of goofing around. He goes, "Well, you're a very enlightened being," and so those words were thrown at me by Buddha Calm, Uncle George Naopi. He at the time he has passed away. Well, I think 10 years ago. It's been a while. He's the big kahuna in Hawaii. And I went to the Berkeley Psychic Institute, and they've all, just like, you are an enlightened being. You are a very powerful healer. All you have to do is open up. Even though I've been involved in this field for, at that time, I would say 15 years, it was very hard for me to just accept that and be like, this is, and my ex-girlfriend's like, like, why? Well, it was like a conflict that I had, you could say. I don't have that conflict anymore. But I've had the ability for a long time. And I don't want to go too much into it. I guess what I'm really trying to say is like, okay, I get it. I'm a blonde, blue, square jawed freaking guy. I look like a football player. I get it. And most people, not most, all people, when they first meet me, he's one of those guys. And then when they start working with me, like, holy shit, like, what is this? So a client of mine was from India. He'd lived out here for quite a while. And he said, everything that people go to India for is what you're doing here. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't wear the garb. I don't, honestly, this white sage is probably the most spiritual thing that I ever do. And I just started doing this recently.
And your crystals.
Oh yeah, I do have a beautiful crystal. I do have some more over there. Well, I like my
Yeah.
crystals though. But this is new. I've gotten into this about the last 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So
So
I,
to have this resource in our area in the United States is
yeah,
it's gem, it's precious, really. And you don't have to wear the garb. But
mm,
for me personally, um, especially when we met,
mhm,
I could feel I could feel that you care.
mm.
So you're definitely heart centered, and that's my goal, right? My goal is to be heart centered as well.
And that is the whole direction of okay. If you're a guy that comes to me, I have a course called Cracked Female Code. There's a code that women speak in. Okay, it is a very heart centered course. Everything I do with you, the internal awareness dropping down. There's a series of things I will take you through, whether you take this course or the emotional healing course. The same things I teach, everything I teach in the emotional healing course, and all the healings that I do in the emotional healing course, I also do in this course. Okay, everything is about dropping you down and opening up your heart. It's about opening your chakras, your energy field, and teaching you how to do it on your own. Now, with Mila, we really haven't even gotten there of teaching her a couple things we have. So you start practicing these things, and I want to emphasize one thing. If I just said, "Okay, here's the steps, write them down," you wouldn't do it. You would do it, but you wouldn't get there. What I'm doing is I'm working with my energy, with your energy, showing your energy how to do it. That's why you got there so fast. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
So she's smiling because it is a okay. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the message across, and I have not found a way to do it. And if you just look at her, she's happy, she's joyful. You know what? I wish we would have done a recording of before we
Before,
did any of
right?
this, and
Yeah.
then played 30 seconds of that, and then played this, and people are like,
Yeah.
wow, that was
So
it wasn't even 2 weeks ago. It was like 8 days ago, 7.
whatever. Yeah, last week. So that's it, right? Because Mike had to stop me in my track because I was really down, really stressed. You know, lots of tears, right? I mean, even if I was holding them back, um,
You
you
cried a
know,
lot. Mhm.
I cry a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a release, and you have to do it.
yeah.
Um, but once Mike stops the ping ponging, and he has to shock you out of your own woe is me thing. Um, then you start doing the exercise. And for me personally, I'm a really bad student, so to have the hands-on help, and I know you can't do one-on-one with everyone, but so having a course where we can all help each other, that would be kind of cool. But I needed that initial like stop, shut up. um and then
Right.
stop start the exercise, and it was just one exercise and then another one, and then a lot of explaining.
Yeah.
But once that kicked in, it kicks in. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a point where, yeah, I was gonna say where it just kicks in. So,
Yeah. It's not gonna kick in immediately, but for
mhm.
me, I could definitely feel the shift um a day or two later.
Tell you another thing. So, all right, okay. So I was going to NLP trainings, energy healing, hypnosis in my early 20s, and constantly for well over 12 years before I even took a break. It was when I went through my awakening, then I found Buddha Kam, and my ex-girlfriend, she's Laotian, and Buddha Kam's from Laos, from her village. And he had just flown out here. I don't know if it was that year or a few months, but I begged her to take me to him. So he was about an hour drive away, and her and I would go together. And what happened was, he would take uh, this, oh god, I forget what it's called, but it's like water in this big jar, glass jar, and he's got perfume. There's perfume and flowers and all kinds of stuff in it, and it's blessed water. Now you hear about blessed water. This was blessed water. He would take it in little, I forget what it was, and he would like shake it and like on my, I mean, just like, I think he was being funny, but he just drenched me with it. And then he would do this chant and this prayer, and he did this healing work, and then we would eventually get up and leave. That would usually be about an hour process or 45 minutes. And sometimes we would hang out and eat with him. And then we would go home. And sometimes we'd pull over to a restaurant or whatever. And it was the third time we did it. We walked into this restaurant halfway home. And it was, ah, and all of a sudden, everything just went dead silent. And everyone looked at us and just smiled and just stared. And I was like, is it me or is everyone? She goes, yeah. She goes, have you noticed every time we leave Buddha Calm, and everyone would look at us and get just totally peaceful. It was at that moment that I knew this is what I had to do. Now, luckily, I was already on this path and I was already learning and practicing, developing. But it was that moment that I was like, I have to figure out what the hell he's doing. Right. So, luckily, something that I'd learned in hypnosis plus something I learned when I was in Hawaii, they had already taught us the basics of it. And when I was watching him, what he did the next time, I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. So I'm not going to explain it now because it would take way too long. But from that point forward, I started developing this to where, okay, I've got another client, brand new client. He's called today for the second time. He's going to sign up for the big course, the big one. And he called back and said, after the first time we talked for about, I would say, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. This guy was very depressed, not just in the moment, but for years, and very negative. And he just was blunt. He goes, I'm so negative on this and that. Within 15 minutes, he opened up and his voice changed and he's more relaxed and calm. And I kept working with his energy. This is why, okay, your first phone call was the same way. I'm not telling people, oh, we're doing a session, I'm charging you. No, I generally like, wow, they're in pain. And I'm working them through it. And we're just talking. And it sounds like we're just having a conversation, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, he starts feeling better. I'm like, how do you feel? And he goes, what? I go, how do you feel? He goes, I feel really good because I didn't tell him what I was doing. And as we continue, we got better and better. He said, man, I just feel so good. I haven't felt this good since I was a kid. So he called me today. He goes, I don't know what you did, but man, it's like my life has changed. One phone call. So what I'm doing, I'm not, it sounds like, okay, even in the beginning, she was saying, oh, well, he just walks you and he talks and no, I'm talking, but behind the words, I'm doing energy. I'm helping you shift. People will tell me, let's say I meet someone at the coffee shop, I'm just hanging out, working on my website or something, and they'll start a conversation, a total stranger. I will bump into them weeks later. I'm like, what did you do to me? I'm like, I didn't do anything to you. My energy is so full of love that people are feeling that, and your heart center is opening and you're feeling this love inside you. So you have almost an instant shift is what I'm saying, within 30 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool.
So I'm very happy. I'm proud. I don't know what the right word is to say. It's just I want to reach more people. And here's why. This is the easiest thing that I do. Of all the teachings and trainings I do, healing people emotionally and opening them up to their heart center, and so they begin to emanate this love. All right, I've got to say this. Maybe I'll do another one with Adam. on Zoom this time though. It's much better audio. Adam went out the next day and he was like, a squirrel ran up my leg and crawled up here. He goes, a wild squirrel. And he said, a little girl leaned. Now, if you've been watching my YouTube videos, it's on there. The interview's on there. He goes, a little girl, they're on the train. The family comes on. The little girl sits next to him and just puts her head on his shoulder immediately and then hugged him. And he was like, what the hell is this? And there's a lot of other experiences that he's been having since that day. He goes, people are just walking up to me and they're touching me and they're smiling. Your energy will shift other people's energy around you and people will start to treat you better. So I'm going to stop right there. So that's it. You can say whatever you want to say.
It makes me want to hug Mike.
It does, huh?
Yeah. So you have that effect on people, right? So as long as you are ready to allow and open up, your energy is working on my energy. So, and I don't know about my energy working on others, especially people that are kind of hard, like a challenge relationship in my life right now. So I'm not quite there yet. But when I find people who resonate with me, who are on the same path, then that's a lot easier.
Okay, what I wanted to stop is her energy shifted into the hardness the minute you started talking about it. So we have more work to do with her to become more conscious of, whoa, I just created that energy. And then you can stop it and go, what do I want to create? And then with the techniques that I teach you, then you can create that energy and it will expand out and those people will shift. So we're not done with you yet. We got more work.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. So good. Got that smile back. Now notice how her energy shifted just like that. All right. So another thing I will say on my YouTube channel, subscribe, and I'll tell you why. People will constantly message me either on the YouTube or send me messages saying thank you. Your YouTube videos have helped me through the last year. They would say your energy. There's something about it that it just makes me feel good about myself, and that right there. Everything I've done from Tony Robbins seminars and all this other stuff, it's like, what does it really come down to? It's like people just want to feel good about themselves. They want to feel good inside. And that will help you go out in the world and achieve your dreams and your goals, find the right mate, someone that you're happy with. And I don't want to go past it. It's just, what do I do? I help people to feel good about themselves. I mean, not just logically feel good and do step one, step two. This is what Tony Robbins says in his book, got to do these. No, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you just feel good. Like right now, are you doing anything? Are you doing any technique right now?
I am breathing a lot,
Okay.
much deeper than before. I am definitely making sure that it's going all the way down to my belly.
Okay. You said a really
So
good, yeah, go ahead.
to stay calm. But um, one of the things I wanted to add about you saying,
All right.
I just want to feel good, is really um, loving yourself, right? And replenishing from the inside. And I'm not quite there, but it's beginning.
It took me many years to learn how to do this and be healed. And she's had 3 sessions and she's
Yeah.
not there yet. Be a little more patient. I think what I'm trying to say is like, I don't think people quite understand. It's like what took me decades to get to is going to take you weeks to months.
Yeah.
I mean, that is fast. I don't know how to explain it. So I'm going to tell you what's going on with Mila right now. I'm going to see if I can find that. It should be right here. Hold on, let me. Okay, I'm just going to read it off for now because that's not looking. I don't know. So let me read it off real quick. So it says awakening. There is this overwhelming sensation that's occurring deep inside of you. You question everything. You trust only a few people. You no longer believe in everything that was sold to you as a kid. You're looking for facts for proof and for undeniable consistencies. This is proof that you are transforming. Awakening. Don't fight it. Allow this energy to flow. Sylvester McNutt. I don't know if that's real, but So what I'm saying is she is going through this massive questioning process. Like it's kind of interesting because normally you only see children, and I mean this as a massive compliment because adults generally shut that questioning off. Now, when you're getting close to your awakening, you just question everything, and isn't that what you were going through, especially when you first met me? And probably still doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, Mila's about to wake up.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Now, when I say wake, yeah, she really is ready. When I say she's about to wake up, she's legitimately having a genuine awakening. She's already started the process. You get a lot of people that might have, what's the right word? Like a greater awareness of stuff. Like, oh, okay, that's not an awakening, but a lot of people think that's an awakening. An awakening, you can't like, you know what? I've seen a lot of YouTube videos like this is how you know you're going through awakening. Honestly, those are nice and everything, but you can't explain it. When you wake, okay, I went through a 6 month awakening. It was the deepest, most spiritual experience I had ever had, and I've been meditating for freaking, oh god, 8 9 years every day. Didn't miss a day for hours a day, and on the weekends over 10 hours. Okay, I would meditate a lot. So she's going through an awakening. She's on the verge of that. She's just about to go into it. And when you go through it, it's nice to have someone like me who understands what you're going through because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Nobody back then.
I
There
mean,
was
no,
go ahead.
nobody knows they're going through an awakening until they're kind of mostly all the way through it, and then they realize that, oh, I'm going through something, right?
Yeah,
So, I I aim for it. That's my motivation, but I think I think you're bringing it out,
yeah,
right? Or you're helping with your energy, you're helping my energy to bring it out.
right.
Yeah.
So one thing that's going on in the world right now, we are a lot of people are about to wake up. Not all, but a lot. And for some of them who haven't, okay, the techniques that I've been guiding you through, and the more these are going to help you to flow through it a lot better because what we're doing is we're expanding you open, and when you go through awakening, you just pop. I mean, wide open, and it can be, oh, like, what is this? And it's like, what the hell is this, right? And so I'm working with Adam. Adam is about to wake up too. He's going through the same thing, so he's not quite as conscious of it as Mila. In fact, I'm mentioning it to him because I don't want it to be such a shock. That's probably the best way to explain it. Okay. Mila's not quite there yet. She has an inkling of what's coming, but she's not there yet. No, and when it happens, it'll be a. But it can't. Okay, for you, it's going to be a wonderful experience, especially in the beginning. It's not going to be a bad experience for me. That first, like, whoa, what it was like. It's like when you're a little child and you see snow for the first time, and then you see rain, and then you see a ladybug, and then you see a flower bloom over the next three, and you just watch it for hours, right? That's kind of what it's going to be like. You have this new, refreshed, it's like kind of in the Bible where Jesus says, I don't have the words exactly, but until you have the mind of a child or you become like these children, you shall not enter the gates of heaven, or however he says that.
Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. This is what the right brain is. The right brain is the open door to the spirit. The right brain is about the five senses. And this was the brain you used when you were a child.
I'm not trying to be religious or Christian at all, I swear to you. What he's saying is what she's about to go through. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Actually, she is already beginning it. When I first met her, all she did was like, why, why? Just like it says in this post here, there's an overwhelming sensation that's occurring deep inside of you. You question everything. And I remember, I was like, whoa, she was just overwhelming me with questions. I was like, whoa. But that's what a child is like. She's rediscovering reality. She's rediscovering life again for the freshness for what it is. It's like a refreshing of the mind. She's opening back up from the left logical brain, which is in the box, to the right brain, which is the open brain to the spirit world. The right brain is the emotional, creative, spiritual brain. This is what I specialize in. This is what my course, Crack the Female Code, is about for men, because most men are very much locked in and lost in their left logical processor, okay, the left brain. So what I should say is she's opening back up again, and not a freshness of the mind, but more of it's like a refreshing of the right brain, the five senses. She's tuning back into her emotions and her feelings, her body, and see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. As you become an adult, you tend to disconnect from your emotions and your feelings, and you get stuck in your logical brain.
Okay, it's what I went through. Like all of a sudden, you have this new awareness of life. Okay. Essentially, what you're doing, we have filters. Okay, I made a lot of videos about filters. What happens is when you awaken, all the filters get pushed aside, and you see life for what it is. You smell grass. You'll smell things like, wow, I can smell the air again. I can smell the trees. You'll taste food like, whoa, what is this? You hear music and it's freaking amazing. It's not just that, because with me, I really began to use energy healing. I began to sense energy without having to meditate every day. It was like, what is this? I was constantly aware. So one thing about me, I'm a very intuitive person. Mila kind of hinted around earlier about like how Mike knew before I even knew. Remember saying that earlier? Yes, she's absolutely right. I will know what someone's going through before they're even conscious of it, because the energy, their body is going through that. The energy, the stress, the pain, the ping ponging. A lot of people are not connected to themselves. That means feeling their body. They're not truly grounded and tuned in. And so it's not like I'm really doing some magical thing. I'm very tuned in. So it's like I can sense it, like, oh, okay, here's where she's at. Here's where we got to take her. And this is how we got to get her there. And the more you tune into your own body, the sooner you're going to notice it too.
I hope.
So I don't know what else to say. I think we've kind of overdone it, and I'm just kind of happy. So I think you got to be somewhere, actually.
Yeah, so I have to go, but we'll record more, right?
Hey, this is Mike Colleen at Mike Colleen, MikeKollin.com. I have dating and relationship books for men and women. I highly recommend for men, Crack the Female Code or Get the Ultimate Package, okay? And I have 2 books for women, Why Men Just Don't Get It, and Every Woman's Battle, The Need for Love and Emotional Fulfillment. By the way, do you like that title, Why Men Just Don't Get It? Every woman loves that.
I'm not interested. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. So I personally want to say goodbye. And Mila, want to say something?
Goodbye. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to working with Mike some more. And we'll see the progress, right?
Would you recommend me?
I would absolutely recommend him.
Thank you, Mila. I appreciate that. We're going to say goodbye for now. And we're stopped.